have a family background of Bollywood. You never thought of getting somewhere a part of the Bollywood society as well.
I was offered a movie with, in those days, Rajesh Khanna.
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't even bother to talk to my sister about it or talk to my parents. It was like, I'm not interested, thank you.
Did you ever think or you felt that you had to work twice as hard just because you were a woman leader?
Yeah, I think in IIG there was a little bit. I mean, normally I've never experienced discrimination, and in fact, there's an international FIGO organization, and they did an interview with me, and they asked me, like, as a woman, were you discriminated? I said, you know, India, though we are a developing nation, I think we are very progressive, very forward. We've had a woman prime minister much before anybody ever did.
How have you navigated all these years without ever losing an integrity, maintaining your discipline?
Politics exists at every single level. Like very recently, we have experienced that at an international level, that your own people do not support you.
Welcome back to yet another exciting episode of the ISAR podcast. We are here from one of the most powerful voices of our country. I'm going to today talk with someone whose career is a testament that leadership isn't given, it's earned. Yes, I'm talking about India's renowned obstetrician, gynecologist, infertility specialist, Dr. Rishma Pai, ma'am. Madam had started her career in the early years when she also started working for Mumbai Obs and Gynaec organization. And then there was never looking back. She became one of the first Indian women to be the president of all three national societies of the country, which is FOXI, ISAR, IAG, and that she was also the past president of Mumbai Obs and Gynaec Society. What has been the most incredible achievement is that she's currently the president-elect of an international society, which is IFFS, International Federation of Fertility Societies. And she'll be taking over as the president in 28, a position which no Indian doctor has earned before. Wow, ma'am. It's such a pleasure to have you here, and congratulations once again on this feat. We are all proud Indians, and I am actually looking forward to that heartwarming conversation with you. Ma'am, I'm taking you back to your young days. So thanks to all the presidents of the different organizations, we have got a platform today, which is the Youth Council, and which gives platform to the young doctors. I have also been a part of that journey where doctors can now showcase their work, they are acknowledged, and that helps them climb up the ladder. Yeah. But back then, there was no such platform. What made you think that you, apart from your clinical practice, you want to serve an organization?
Yeah. So I started very early on, and it helps that when you're in an institution, I remember I just joined gynecology in KM Hospital in Mumbai, and in my very first post, I was literally like pushed into presenting a paper. And at that point, you're so young, you don't know anything. It's so scary. But we did a little bit of research, and I presented a paper and actually won the first prize. So that was such a wonderful encouragement for me, like as a real young first year of residency. And from then onwards, it was just attending conferences and, presenting papers. And I was the universal master of ceremonies. I think I must have been master of ceremony for every conference. A very lowly job, if you want to call it, bottom rung of the ladder. But it gives you so much confidence, going up on the stage in front of all those senior people and still being able to talk for a couple of minutes. And you get to know so many people. So it was a very humble beginning, if you want to call it that way. But then once you get so involved and then you get to know a lot of people, you are there everywhere interacting. So that started me off on the journey of becoming a member of the Mumbai Obstetric and Gynecology Society. And as you know, getting to be even a member of MOGS is even more difficult than some of the national organization elections. So in those days, there were no mobile phones or internet or, there was none of those things. You had to physically, and I remember going physically to every medical college, like talking to every single unit head and people, going to the hostels, talking to all the, residents in the hostels, going to consulting rooms of all the senior doctors, evenings, imagine going from one consulting room to the other. So the kind of work that we did just to get elected as a member of the managing committee of MOGS, and we did this every 3 years for 4 terms. So it took me 12 years to even sort of begin to go up the ladder in emerges. So just got elected into, unfortunately, almost always came first in the election, but rose up the ladder, and then emergence takes a long, long time. So in the meantime, because I had enjoyed so much the sort of minor leadership roles, if you call it, or being in a community of members, the managing committees. It was a small beginning, but years and years and years later, you gradually ascend up the ladder.
Oh, ma'am. And ma'am, I think you have talked about some of your traits, but I still want you to pick up top 3 traits which helped you in your initial years to be acknowledged amongst that huge crowd of the Mumbai doctors and to slowly climb up the ladder. I know we have talked about it, but those 3 top qualities of yours.
I've never actually enumerated qualities that have helped me achieve any kind of success in what I do. But one thing is for sure, it's hard work.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And in fact, just the other day we were talking how my family actually used to ridicule me because I was so conscientious, even as a child. Like I would be, if the teacher said do this, it had to be done. There was no way that was not going to be followed to the T. So right from the beginning, I was very conscientious, did whatever had to be done, extremely disciplined. So I think hardworking, really disciplined, and I'm very proud of my discipline because it's not only in studies or in getting sort of a grade in school or in getting a rank when you're older. It's really not about that. It's about discipline in life. When you wake up and you sleep, when you exercise, when you put your whatever, and a nice balance between everything that you do. So I think hard work, discipline, really genuinely caring about what you do. The day I stop caring about what I do or caring for people or being concerned or being able to sleep in the night if my patient is not well, it's not possible. And I think it applies to most of us. If our patient is not well, we cannot sleep in the night. We are constantly concerned. So I think caring, compassion, hard work, dedication, all of these things, I think work together to make a complete individual, and that individual is going to get success in whatever field they take.
And I have witnessed that closely working with you as a youth council member when you were the MOGS president. Yeah. I mean, the kind of discipline and also, ma'am, the love for your people, love for your community also apart from your patients is something I think you carried so gracefully. You always give us opportunities to work. But this also brings me to another thing. I have always admired you as one vivacious lady. And you have a family background of Bollywood.
Oh God.
You never thought of getting somewhere a part of the Bollywood society as
well? It's a strange journey. In fact, just yesterday I was at a bank or something and I met Gulshan Grover. Okay. This is just yesterday's story. And he was a very famous villain back in the day. And we were talking and, he was like, oh, I'm so happy to see you after a long time. And I remember we were going back when I was all of 18 years old and we were at a location shooting because my sister is a movie star, Poonam Dhillon, and has been in the movies for so many years. So we were at a location shooting and at that very shooting, I was offered a movie with, in those days, Rajesh Khanna.
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't even bother to talk to my sister about it or talk to my parents. It was like, I'm not interested, thank you. And then I still remember when we were shooting for one of Poonam's movies, Romance, in London. Again, that producer had approached me and said that we would like to make a film with you. And it really wasn't, I had done my 12th grade and I was ready to go into medical school. And I was so focused on my medical entrance and I was like, I'm just not interested. So that really didn't play in my head as one of the options. However, as you can see, I love speaking to people. I love being on the stage, but in what I love to do, what I'm passionate about. So I think I've fulfilled all my desires by doing podcasts such as these, lot of TV shows, lot of media interactions, So, you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I think you enjoy that. And the same journey now my son is going through because Arnav, as you know, is a gynecologist as well. And I don't know how many hundreds of people must have told him that he should enter into movies. You know that. And, everywhere he goes, what are you doing in medicine? You should be in the movies. But the same attitude, he's never given that a serious thought. He's like, no, I love to be a gynecologist. It's the best profession in the world. And he's all set to sort of start on his journey. So I think it's just a mindset.
And ma'am, I think it's also your destiny had something bigger written for you that you became an international leader, making all Indian doctors so proud today.
Thank you, thank you.
And ma'am, I'm now going into little nitty-gritties of working in an organization. So every organization, whether it's medical, whether it's non-medical, let's be honest, has some or the other politics to a different level.
Yeah.
How have you navigated all these years without ever losing an integrity, maintaining your discipline?
I mean, yes, politics exists at every single level. And so it's more, I think, about groups and, sort of forming a little group and then working against the other group and things. And once in a while we see it, like very recently we have experienced that at an international level, that your own people do not support you, they run you down, they work against you. That's really very negative. But I think you can just point out 2 or 3 people like that in the entire community, and everybody knows that, and people don't appreciate that. So I think overall it's healthy competition, and many times we campaign together. So I remember for MOGS managing committee, we would go like 2, 3 of us would go together, and we would say, vote for all of us for managing committee. So it's not like you're constantly fighting with people. Once in a while there will be a bit of a competition for a particular position, but to me it's very, I've never felt that. I remember when I was going for Foxy presidency, and you know how difficult it is to stand for All India president of the Gynec Federation. And there was one opponent who had started in the beginning to stand against me, and that's perfectly fine. Nowadays, 4 or 5 people are standing for the same post, and it's perfectly fine. And suddenly, I meet this person in a conference, and she doesn't look at me, doesn't talk to me, turns the other way, pretends she doesn't know me. And I was so shocked, and genuinely shocked. I'm like, we've been friends for years, and we've been, always together and doing everything. And suddenly, because we are standing against each other in an election, you don't talk to me, you don't recognize me. For me, it was a shock, because I would never do that. I'd still be very good friends with my opponent and say, "Okay, till this election, we are going to be, competing with each other. After that, we are good friends again." So for me, it's not required to be the enemy of your opponent. That's ridiculous. It's so juvenile and so childish and so immature. Work, you have your own strategy, work hard, implement it the way you want to, but that doesn't mean you kill the person who's standing against you. That's ridiculous.
So ma'am, then you became the IAG president, and I think you were the second woman to become the IAG president, a society so claimed that it was a male-dominated society at that time. Did you ever think or you felt that you had to work twice as hard just because you were a woman leader?
Yeah, I think in IAG there was a little bit. Normally I've never experienced discrimination, and in fact, there's an international FIGO organization, and they did a sort of a segment called LDI Leadership, and basically they were focusing on women, the Leadership Development Initiative. And they did an interview with me, and they asked me, like, as a woman, were you discriminated against? I said, India, though we are a developing nation, I think we are very progressive, very forward. We've had a woman prime minister much before anybody ever did. America still doesn't have one. But in IAG, there was, it was always a male bastion. And once I did come in as a president, I made an effort. I started, if you know, the EVE IAG, which is only for women, by women, for women. Only women gynecologists would operate, and they're fabulous. It was just that in workshops, it was 90% men and maybe 1 or 2 women operating. And I said, the women are so fabulous in their surgeries. They're so good in their knowledge. Why are you putting them behind? So the EVE IAG was only for women, by women. And that is continuing till date. And very often they tell me that thank you for giving us a platform, because otherwise we were always subdued by the men who are a little more aggressive, when they present their work or their science or their surgery. So I think all along, I am very proud to be a woman. I would never change gender for anything else in the world. I have a daughter whom I have always treated equal, if not more, than my son, who's an equal achiever. So there's never been any possibility of a discriminatory feeling in the mind for myself or for another woman elsewhere. So I think a woman has equal opportunity, but you have to be equally competent. Don't say I am poor thing, I'm weak, I'm so delicate, I can't do this, I can't go. Then you are like, undermining your own level, if you will. So you have to be on par in terms of capability, in terms of strength, in terms of courage, everything. Then I don't think there can be any discrimination.
And once again, thank you for that initiative, because after that, we have now seen so many women showing up their endoscopic skills.
Yeah.
And I think, if not at par, but we have a lot of good female surgeons,
Absolutely.
endoscopic surgeons,
Absolutely.
recognized and celebrated in the country. So, now you are president-elect of IFFS. How does it feel to represent India on that platform?
It was a very, very, let's say, pleasant appointment that I could get elected as president-elect. And this happened earlier this year in Japan at the International World Congress of the International Federation of Fertility Societies. So I've been working with the organization for many years, obviously, right from being an assistant treasurer to then being a treasurer for a couple of years and then gradually coming up the ladder. And before that, I mean, if you should probably know about this, that India has been very active on the international field. The European Society of Human Reproduction, ESHRE, the largest team always is from India. 800 people from India go to ESHRE to attend. So right from many, many years ago, I've been involved with the ESHRE. Right now also very much, in fact, that the first ever ESHRE Congress in India was done by me, Fusion Conference in Jaipur. And I mean, they were so amazed. 20 of the ESHRE leadership, all the presidents, past presidents, future presidents, they all came down. And they were thrilled. They said, we've never seen a Congress like this. The kind of organization, the kind of hospitality, the academic level, the social activity, they had never seen anything like that. And they can't stop talking about it even now. So we've been actively involved with ESHRE. That's why they gave us the privilege of hosting this conference, because they developed the confidence in us. So also American Society of Reproductive Medicine, ASRM, Rishikesh, my husband, was the first one to start the special interest group, the SIG of ASRM, years ago. So at that time it was so hard because America is so far away, not many gynecologists go. And we had to make the SIG, we had to have 50 signatures during every conference. So my God, I still remember we had a diary and we used to go helter-skelter, please sign that you're going to attend, you're a member, Indian member, because unless 50 members attended every year for 3 years in a row, we could not start the special interest group. So we made so much effort to do that. So it doesn't happen. Rome is not built in a day. Nothing happens overnight. You have to make a lot of effort. And so because of Rishikesh, we had a special interest group, Indian special interest group, ISAR's Indian interest group. And then, we got a platform, we could have a workshop. So once we did a workshop in American Society, fully packed. It was so thrilling for us that all the foreigners from all over the world came to listen to our workshop. It was packed. The people were sitting outside. They were standing in the corridor. It was a fantastic feeling. It gave us the confidence that we can do more and more. And so for years, then you work at that level. You work at ESHRE. You work, and you know that when I was Foxy president, for the first time ever, we did a Foxy Day in London. So we did an India Day in London. And so we tried to break barriers. I started the first India chapter, London chapter of Foxy, first time ever. So it's not like we are Indians, we are proud to be Indians, we are, but at the same time, we are capable of so much more. We can expand because we have the knowledge. Indian doctors are the best in the world. You know that sometimes it's always sort of said that Indian doctors are fabulous. And so we've tried to break the barriers, go out into the world, go to the UK, go here, go to America, form the chapter. You formed a chapter in America as well. So I've always been looking to make India rise up to a global level, because I think India deserves to be there. Indian doctors deserve to be there. So we are not lesser than anybody. Once we have that confidence, and the important thing is communication skills. So I am truly a believer that if you have ability and you're able to communicate that ability, people will recognize it. Why will they not,
Yeah.
So I think the groundwork of years, it was not 1 year, years and years and years, that helped me to get this position. And even when I was working in IFFS at a ground level, I was there for every single meeting, whether they were online meetings. Sometimes it's late in the night because international timings. I know my FIGO, I'm a member of the FIGO committee. The meetings the entire year were between 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning. every single time. So I'd put my alarm, I'd get up, I'd wash my face and sit down on the Zoom. And so you could always sleep through it and say, oh, sorry, the time is not suitable for me. And many people do that. Oh, sorry, the time is not suitable. But I would get up every. So you have to show that you're enthusiastic. You have to show that you care, you're participating, you're contributing. Then people realize your value.
So, ma'am, you have worked with the international societies for now years together, and now you are going to embark this leadership role. Do you anticipate that there will be some cultural differences or challenges when you are taking up this leadership role?
Yeah. There are going to be cultural differences for sure, because IFFS is sort of a federation of 64 fertility societies in 64 different countries, and it works very closely with the WHO. So in fact, if WHO needs any work done or research or some opinions about a particular subject, they approach the IFFS because we work with them. So obviously it has to be a global platform. Obviously there are going to be cultural differences, but for example, currently the president is from South America, so it's quite different from the previous president who was from North America, from California, from one of the high-end universities. And we have representation from Africa, we have representation from Philippines. So it's really a global organization. And just now we had our conference in Japan. So along with that, we had like one hall just doing Japanese sessions, because so much of local language barriers. So there are a lot of sort of international sentiments and sort of social issues that you have to consider. But at the end of the day, we are all academicians. Our interest is all promotion of science and to make sure that we spread the word. It's about knowledge. We've started a beautiful campaign which we are strongly backing, called the More Joy campaign, about worldwide population is declining. So everybody has been talking about the population boom, but now we know that worldwide, especially in Europe and many other countries of the world, including in India, population has stabilized or is declining. And so we're bringing about awareness before it becomes too late, like it happened in China. There's been a huge elderly population, young people are not there. So it's about creating awareness, being sort of aware of what's happening globally, which is much more difficult than in your own country. So you have to be constantly aware, read up, talk to people, and learn from them. So I'm a true believer in being a mentor and taking skills or guidance from the seniors. So both ways, when it works, I think it's a really learning experience.
And what was that one thing that you think helped you gain the confidence and the trust of the global peers in becoming the president-elect of IFFS, something that no Indian has ever done before?
I think it's the hard work, like I said right at the beginning, because I've worked with the organization from just being a board member to then getting elected as assistant treasurer to then getting elected as treasurer. And so they have seen that over the years I have contributed positively. You cannot be a silent spectator. See, I see some people, they just want to stand for an election and get a title. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I put that title on your visiting card or something. It makes no sense. So unless you want to become a leader for making a difference, making a change, being able to look back proudly and say, I did that, I could make that change, I contributed positively. So it's not pushing an agenda, it is really pushing ideas and things which will benefit society as a whole.
And I think, ma'am, you rightly said the communication skills at this platform matters a lot when you want to, without hurting somebody's sentiments, you want to reach out to the people. Yeah. So in your journey of being presidents of so many society, any instance you remember you had to make a very tough decision when you knew that people may not be very happy with it, but as a president, I have to do it for the organization?
I think those kind of issues come up often. They come up often. And again, it's the communication. If you have a belief, and I'm pretty strong in that belief, then you have to be able to reach out to people and tell them why that belief is a right belief and why what they think, if it is opposite to what I think, may be sometimes not, entirely correct in the perspective. So nobody is wrong. If you fight against a cause, it's because you believe in that cause. So you're not wrong or I'm not right. It's just a belief. And I mean, it has happened so many times. Like, for example, we were talking about in my time when I was president of ISAR, the ART and surrogacy law was in the making. It was in the development phase, and we had all gone to parliamentary committee. So right, in Delhi, in the parliamentary committee, there were about 100 senior people, politicians, union leaders, this, that, doctors, various people, 100 of them, who were going to be making the bill eventually, sitting there. And and there was some absolutely non-knowledgeable talk going on about surrogacy, that it is only for film stars and for gay people and things like that, because that is what they had read in the newspapers, and they are not doctors, the politicians, some of them, they did not know otherwise. And so I could not sort of stop, and I had to get up there, and I got up and I said, I'm sorry that there is a lot more. There are a lot of women who are born without a womb. There are women who have tuberculosis in your country. First, control tuberculosis, which is damaging the uteri of so many women. You control tuberculosis, then you talk to us about not requiring surrogacy. So there's so much disease. There's so many people born without it. What is the fault of a girl who's born without a uterus? Why should she not have the right to have a baby? And at the end of it, they were also like taken aback, and they came up to me later and they said, we didn't know that there were all these indications. We thought it's only for the film stars who are just, not wanting to bear a baby, don't want to spoil their figure, and they're doing surrogacy. Yeah. There's so many, so people are not aware. So once you make them aware, once you interact, once you debate on a subject, I think you can change people's ideas to maybe not 100% my way, maybe 30% my way, 50% my way, and 50% your way, and you reach a compromise. And you learn from others. I have learned, and I don't want to take any names, of doctors in leadership roles who have sometimes taken the side of a government, for example. The government wants a particular thing. They don't know much about it. They just feel, okay, they're going to pass this law. And because it's government, you tend to side them. And it has been very unpopular with doctors, that particular decision. So for me, that's not a choice. When I'm representing the doctors of this country, I'm representing them. I'm not representing the government. Right. I'm not going to go against the government if they want a certain thing. But it is my duty then to represent the doctors, to go say, sometimes maybe against the policy, but to say that this is what the doctors feel. They feel it will hurt them. They feel it will interfere with their practice. They feel it will be negative for their patients. And this is the situation. And I'm ready to even face opposition from the government or from the makers of the law or from whatever, So, sometimes you have to take a stand. You can't just go because, government is saying this, chalo, we'll do that, and go against the community which has elected you or which has given you the responsibility of representing them. So I have also learned from other people's mistakes that don't do that. You are for the doctors because you are elected by them. You need to be not wrong, but you need to understand them and represent that properly to the leadership. So I think that's important, yeah.
And that is what we expect when we choose a leader.
Yes.
That the leader would represent the community for which we are selecting that leader. And I've seen you have voiced out for so many things, even in your Foxy year. So
yeah, I think a lot of, to me, it's, you have to have a very clear vision, like what you want to do. Like I said, you have to communicate that vision nicely. Then you have to build up a team, because you cannot do anything alone. You have to have a good team. Then change and adaptability, because if you remember, when I became the MOGS president, right when I took over in the middle of COVID, COVID had just kind of blown up, the first wave. And none of us knew what was happening. And I was becoming the president. So even my installation, if you remember, it was such a creative installation. It was the first time it was done online. We did passing the hat. So everybody in their own house, everybody in their own house passed a hat to in their own house, shot the video. We put all the videos together, and finally the hat came and landed on my head. And inside that there was a medal which I had put myself, because nobody was meeting anybody else. And it was passing the hat, and that's how I got installed. And that time we didn't even know, believe me, I didn't know what Zoom was. None of us knew what was Zoom. How can you have a conference on Zoom? How can you make different rooms in a Zoom platform, and you can enter the different rooms and have a conference? So it was such a learning experience, but I think that was fabulous looking back. And even at that time, not for a single day did I regret that, oh, I'm a, online president. I didn't have a single meeting on the ground. You work for 25 years to become the president of MOGS. And when you become a president, it's a digital online year, not a single physical conference. But I think it was so fabulous. People remember that more than they would have remembered a physical year, because it was the first time we could do so many new and innovative things. And we got everyone together, and we had so many meetings online, and everybody was involved, and people felt that they were part of this whole story. And so even when the term got over, people said like, would you like to extend your term because you've not had a single physical meeting? And I said, no, I've had a fabulous time. We've done so many wonderful meetings. In fact, we could call so many celebrities because it was online. They were happy to come. So we had a lot of celebrities joining us in our meetings, and we did amazing stuff. So it's adapting at all point, ready for change. And then, of course, learning from preferably other people's mistakes, not your own mistakes. Always doing that. And, always also having a balance between your career, your professional life, and not to forget that you're also a mother and a homemaker and a wife. So balancing nicely all the things. So I think it's really an interplay of all these things, that helps you to sort of become a leader and conduct your role well.
It's also said that a good leader is one who gives an opportunities to the young people. And I remember your MOGS year, we had the Zoom platform, but you gave an entire new platform to the youngsters to come up with the Youngistan conference.
Yeah, we
and
did
a
the
lot
Youngistan
of
for the
sister
first time.
societies of Foxy now are adopting to our concept, which was brought by you.
Yeah.
I mean, one, all youngsters love you for that. But ma'am, coming from a president, because you owe up also to the society, taking up that decision, okay, the young hearts, now you have to plan a conversation, you have to plan a conference. I'll be your guiding soul, but I'll not interfere into it. How did all these ideas come to you?
Because you all are so smart. Because the
We
young
learn from you.
generation is so brilliant and so confident and so fantastic and look so good and achieve so much. So it's really not fair to hold you back. And I'm totally not a believer in the whole seniority debate. I think in India it's been going on for too long. Only when you're senior are you capable. I think that's completely wrong. And look around you in the world, the youngest people are becoming leaders, they're becoming prime ministers, of so many countries, like they're in their 30s and they're leading a country. So it's really not age experience at all. It's your capability, your ability, your devotion, dedication. And so even in ISAR, I actually started the ISAR Youth Council because it's it's so important to give them a platform, because at some point I was given little platforms to come up, I could come up. Similarly, the youngsters given a platform really shine. And so the Youngistan concept really took off. And everywhere, wherever during my presidencies, always tried to focus on the youth, give them like a publication. Okay, you do it. This is, if you remember, we did that, a whole publication only by the youth. Only the youngsters. They were the editors. They created the content. I did look at everything because you don't want anything to go wrong, but really not taking credit at all for anything. So I think it's our job that we train a whole new generation, because we are not going to be able to work forever. And this is selfless, because it is so ridiculous to think that you are competing with me or I'm competing with you. You have your own space, you practice, you build up a practice, good for you. It's not taking away my practice. So I mean, I don't see any competition at all with either my peers or with my youngsters. So happy to train, and I think over a period of time we've trained so many people in infertility. We've had so many young doctors going and training with us in IVF, not only for ISAR but throughout. We did the ISAR idea. We actually started an academy, certification academy, when I was ISAR president. So I think everywhere it's our duty as a leader to make a generation which is ready to take up the leadership roles.
Again, grateful to have mentors like you. And ma'am, we have a lot of young viewers who watch this ISAR podcast. So for our young viewers, if somebody today envisions to be the president of ISAR in the future, or any organization, especially an international organization, your 5-step playbook rule for them.
Oh God, that I don't have any 5-step playbook.
Just a mentor's guide.
No, I think one needs to, first of all, really have the passion for it. It's not just because, oh, my competitor or my neighbor is, getting into leadership roles, so I should also. So you really need to have the passion and really long-term dedication. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes, like I said to you, at least 20 years or 25 years to become the president of MOGS. Like nobody can become a president faster than that. So I mean, that many years of dedication, and there are many people, young people, and I can, literally give names, who have joined the organization, have stood for elections, won one or two elections, and then realized this is not for them. It's too much time they have to devote, too much effort, dedication. Maybe their practice is too busy, they can't do it, and so they make a choice and they drop off the political, if you want to call it, or leadership, or this kind of a role, and they focus on their practice. Because at the end of the day, none of these are paying jobs, right? We give hours and hours of our life to these organizations. They're not paying us. It's all voluntary. So it's a balancing game. And sometimes, when my kids were younger, they would ask me, what is this, Foxy? You're spending so much time there. Are they giving you any money? You're going for conferences. Are you earning from there? I said, no, none of this is earning, but it gives us so much satisfaction. It gives us so much joy. We just love what we do. And that's why for days and nights and, day and night, we're sitting sometimes planning a conference and giving up our earning profession in order to pursue this. So I think that kind of, dedication, passion, long-term commitment, good relationship with your peers, very positive attitude, good communication skills. These are all things which are required, And like I said, looking out for mentors, having someone to guide you through, somebody who's not jealous of you, somebody who genuinely wishes you well. Because like I said, there's no competition at all. If you do well tomorrow, I feel so proud that, oh, my, mentee is doing so well. It feels, in fact, like a pat on my back that, wow, I helped these people rise up the ladder and look where they've reached. So it's a great feeling of satisfaction.
Talking about this work-life balance, we often get confused with the work-life balance when we think it's work and life means family. But I've always seen you also taking care of your own health. Because you take care of your health, you are able to perform so many roles. So for a young crowd who are, especially in their 30s, juggling with the role of entering a motherhood, a role of a wife, and then there's a work role, somebody would want to work for an organization also. What are some tips that you follow to ensure that my health always comes first?
I think it's not just health, it's really a balancing game in life. And there is, for me, work is my life. So it's not work and life. It's work is my life. It's so much a part of my life.
Yeah.
So 60, 50, 60, 70% of my life is work. I get up every morning and I go to work. And that is, so I'm not putting it into different boxes and saying only if this one box I can open, I have to shut it to open the other box. You have 10 boxes open at the same time, it's fine. So I can still be at work and I can still call my house and make sure the courier is coming and this money is being paid and that food is being cooked and this is being done. You have to do that, right? Because that's part of our life. We can't isolate ourselves from there. But also very important to choose the right partner for young people. Choose a partner who is very, very understanding. That's extremely important because sometimes you look at different things, caste, creed, money, you don't look at the most important thing, which is understanding, sharing, somebody who will support you, push you, help you in your journey upward as you progress. So all these things are really important and they impact what your final outcome will be in your personal life or in your professional life. And I think all of us, we feel guilty sometimes because we don't have enough time for the children or anything like that. And lots of times people have asked me that how did your daughter, get elected to go to MIT, which is the best university in the world. She's an engineer who studied there. Or how my son has got a gold medal in MBBS, MD, now he's done his MRCOG. Yeah, he's done his MRCOG. So how does that happen? I said, obviously I'm not holding their hand and teaching them, but they have seen from the day that they were born that the parents are working all the time. Even if I'm at home, you'll never see me. I have a TV which hasn't been turned on for months. Like they laugh at me that why do you have this big television in your room? It doesn't work because I am constantly doing something. I may be on my computer, I'm preparing a lecture, I'm preparing a talk, I'm writing an article, I'm doing some research or whatever. So there's always hard work going on. And the children have seen that and they realize that without hard work and dedication, you can't get anywhere. Yeah. So they've chosen their own paths in life, but the basic thing is that you can achieve something, and they've seen that in Rishikesh, they've seen that with me, that only if you slog, work hard day and night and with dedication and passion, can you achieve what you want to achieve. So. You have to lead by example,
Yeah.
not hold your baby's hand and spoon feed them constantly.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Very true, ma'am. I think kids, they learn by observing what their
Yes,
parents do
absolutely.
more than what parents preach them or teach them
Absolutely. That they
verbally.
never want to listen to. If you preach
Yeah,
them, they will never
never
listen.
listen.
Yeah.
But when it comes to leadership, what do you think? Is it something that can be learned, or it's innate, or it's a blend?
I think it's something which you definitely learn and acquire as you go along. How can a 5-year-old be a leader? I mean, you may have a certain personality type, that's important, but I feel even personalities can be developed. Could be a very, very shy child, but if you, right from the beginning, train them, give them the confidence, give them little classes, give them the thing, they can grow up to be, very confident in the presence of others. So I think it's all learning. There are few things which are natural, but like for me, for example, when I was very young, like for example, a teenager in early years, I was extremely shy, extremely shy. If guests came to the house, I was always like somewhere in the background, not wanting to come ahead. And, so not one of those confident performing kids, come guests ke samne dance karo, sing karo, none of those. So I was a shy child. But, the school which nurtures you, gives you platform down the road, so it's a learning thing gradually. And I feel as you grow older, you bloom, your personality blooms, you pick up on your strong points, you develop them. So you need people to nurture those positive qualities in you. So I feel I'm not very much of a born leader. I think it's acquired and trained, and the passion that you have, you will achieve whatever you want to achieve.
Wow. Such a heartwarming and candid conversation, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, the journey of struggles, the journey navigating, making your space, identity, the triumphs that came along. And you have truly shown that hard work, consistency, persistence makes nothing impossible. One last question for our, again, the young crowd. One non-negotiable quality to be a good leader.
The 1 and 2 numbers are always hard for me.
You can enumerate many. They'll be happy. At the end of the day, the whole purpose is to have the mentors for these young people.
No, I look at you. I mean, look at the way you are conducting this whole podcast. Fantastic. You've worked hard for it. You've prepared it. You've prepared questions. You've thought of what to say. You've dressed up and come for the job. All of this matters. So if you do your background work, you really put all the effort into it, you work with dedication, you put on a smile, you make the effort, I think there's no way that you will not succeed. Yeah, you'll fail a couple of times, that's fine. Everybody fails in all these elections. You lose one, you win one.
Yeah.
It's all part of the story. And don't create negative vibes. Have a positive vibe around you all the time. Look at your smile. That's what matters. So you have a smile, you have a positive vibe, you're good to your people around you. There's no way that you will fail. So elections are not won in a day. It's not like today I start campaigning and I've been a nasty person all my life and I've been mean and rude to everybody and I've run down people. And now because I'm standing for election, suddenly I'm all honey, sugar. It doesn't work that way. People have a memory. They know how you've made them feel for the last 20 years. And that's how they will elect you into a position of power. So I think it's a journey. It's not one single that now I decide I'm going to stand for election, I'm going to become a leader. Doesn't happen. It's the kind of person you are, the journey that you take, the people whom you meet, how you interact with them, how you take them along with you. Because when you become a leader, you have to have a team. Nobody wants to work with you. It's not going to work. So I think it's a lovely, long journey of life and what you do as you go on that journey.
Thank you so much once again, ma'am, for that very enriching and heartwarming conversation. And for our viewers, remember the very powerful word which ma'am used, journey. At the end of the day, it's your journey, your hard work, your consistency. And stay tuned for yet another powerful voice on the ISAR podcast. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Because that time I was really I didn't know what to do because I was not that happy with obstetrics and or the routine gynec, and I had seen Indira Hinduja, so I felt that I must do something, and the only thing, the answer that time, the new kid on the block was IVF. I feel that in the future we should be not impatient. I said don't enter too early, too fast. Take it easy. I always give the example of a ball in the swimming pool. If you just So you run after the ball will go ahead. If you stay run, it will come to you. So we need to stay steady, and it will all come.
Today, a young doctor wants to be the Dr. Rishikesh Pai.
I was getting a pay of 700 rupees as an intern. So, like when I became a doctor, I realized the kind of income we will make. Now, the newer generation has seen all that. In the society, doctors doing well now, so they want that faster.
Do you think that for the new generation doctors, it is a prudent idea to come together as groups together for a practice rather than myself?
So, what does a corporate do or a large chain do? They get this at a lower cost because they have too many centers. So, we also need to come together so that we can have procurement as a collective, we can have marketing as a collective.
With this such mammoth volume of the obstetricians and gynecologists in the country, how can a young gynecologist ensure that he or she be visible?
If I look at the people who are in a smaller cities, they are having massive hospital, fantastic life, everyone knows them. There's a huge potential. You can go and settle in those cities. So because the main cities like Mumbai and all are very saturated.